hour today, we're getting into some hot water. NBC's Lester Holt traveled to Alaska to see how geothermal energy is saving a popular resort thousands of dollars. And he joins us with that. Lester, good morning to you.
Matt, good morning to you. The Chena Hot Springs Resort sits miles away from the nearest power grid and for years depended on diesel-run generators. Well, the decision to switch to a clean, cheap, and renewable alternative was easy, but figuring out how to harness the hot springs that made it famous proved to be a challenge. And it's been one that's paid off handsomely.
Deep in the snow-covered Alaska wilderness, where it seems spring is always a latecomer, hope springs eternal at this steamy oasis.
That's hot.
The natural hot springs an hour east of Fairbanks draw thousands from around the world to the Chena Hot Springs Resort, where the waters not only soothe travel-weary guests, but help heat the resort's buildings.
Hey, Rusty, you got a copy?
But still burdened with huge diesel fuel bills to generate power on the sprawling remote property, owner Bernie Carl, a man seemingly in perpetual motion, set his sights on finding a cheap and renewable energy source. The answer, he hoped, was bubbling right below his feet.
It was coming from the ground, so you knew it was hot. And you knew that if you drilled deeper, you were going to get hotter.
But at 165 degrees, well below boiling point, the water Bernie was drawing from this well was not hot enough to drive electricity-producing turbines. Or at least, that was the assumption. These hot springs were discovered just a little over a century ago, and word quickly got out of the warm and what some believed were healing waters. But the full potential of this water as a source of energy wasn't tapped until just a year and a half ago.
This is supplying electricity to the resort.
That's when Bernie got together with United Technologies to invent a system that would use that 165-degree water to heat up environmentally safe refrigerant that in turn would produce the necessary steam.
Now feel this.
Today, two of the revolutionary generators hum around the clock, providing electricity to the entire resort complex, including this greenhouse where the resort grows much of its own produce year-round.
The more that we get addicted to oil, the better it looks here. When I first bought this place, oil was like 76 cents a gallon. Now it's $3.59 with no tax on it. It was originally going to take us 5 to 6 years to get our debt load paid back on doing this energy project. It looks like now it could be 4 years. If the price goes higher, maybe I'll do it in 3 years.
Alaska leads the country in the amount of geothermal resources, and yet this is the first time it's been used here to generate electricity.
I started moving hot water around. I mean, was that honestly that simple. It really was. I mean, but you see, people had missed that for all these years. They missed the obvious.
In the meantime, the hot water beneath the resort is also key to an equally revolutionary cooling system that has made the resort's ice museum a year-round attraction.
95 gallons a minute of hot water, 75 gallons a minute of cold water. We make 15 tons of refrigeration. First time in the history of man, it's a 3-pressure absorption chiller. And it's the first and only one.
Through all this, Bernie Carl has become both the hottest and coolest thing in the world of renewable energy.
And what they've done at Chena is being closely watched in Alaska's many remote villages that depend on expensive diesel fuel that has to be transported hundreds of miles. And so there's a push for those communities to harness their own renewable energy sources, whether it be geothermal, wind, turbines, or even tidal power, Matt.
That contraption he showed you, that system in the building, what did it cost to build?
It cost about $2 million. I mean, it was a heavy investment because, as I said, the water wasn't quite hot enough for this, but they said, well, there's got to be a way. They invested in it, and we think it's going to pay for itself in a matter of years.
Cool stuff, Lester. Thanks.